Hello ladies and gentlebeans. I'm going to do a new series, kind of, well, I hope it's going to turn into a decent series. Anyway, I'm going to do some SimCity tutorials. Now, I've played this game since it came out quite a lot. I think I've racked up probably close on 50 hours on it, bearing in mind it only came out last Friday. 50 hours in 4 days. It's quite a lot of playtime. I was actually #1 on Raptor for about 2 hours before somebody who obviously has just sat there with it open and not actually playing it decided to close it and managed to get 53 more hours than I did, which I hate that about Raptor, but here we go. First thing we're going to start off with is roads and how to design your roads and stuff like that. I've had even a lot of trouble with traffic issues and stuff like that when your city starts to get bigger and bigger. Once you start to get to about 70,000 residents and stuff like that, of a population even, you start to get major traffic issues, which obviously ends up shutting down your mass transit, with your buses and stuff like that, because they get stuck in traffic and there's just way too much of a wait time, so people just don't use them. They end up using their cars instead, which obviously gives you more traffic. Now, as you saw in the opening scene there, a lot of what the opening scene seems to have used in the cities that they've actually built there is the actual medium density avenues to the high density avenues. They seem to have used them in a majority of the places that they built roads. Now, I've tend to go along this route as well, so build quite a lot of the avenues and stuff like that. We'll get to the road types when we actually get in the game, and I'll explain that more. So what we're going to do is we're going to click play. We're going to resume this game on here, but I will create a new city. I will show you this city in due course. Actually, I'll show you it now, and then you can get an idea. This city is slowly going bankrupt. In fact, I think it already is, for the simple reason of traffic issues more than anything. People just aren't using the mass transit. People aren't able to get to work, and thus businesses are shutting down because of traffic. Traffic is one of the major problems. If you end up having traffic, that's it. Your city's done. As you can see there, I'm losing quite a lot of money per hour. The traffic won't build up just yet because I've just loaded it, obviously. Oop. But we can see here, if I click on, this is my bus terminal here, we can have a look at the average wait time is 76 minutes. Now, I've got, how many? I've got 24 buses on there, and I have another bus terminal there which also has 12 buses on it. So I've got a fair few buses. I also have a streetcar terminal here. As you can see, there's a streetcar roads there. That's got 11 streetcars on it, and there's a 44-minute wait for the streetcars. Can't actually add any more streetcars onto that because I'll end up demolishing buildings. But traffic is one of the major issues that I tend to have with this game. I mean, if people can't get to work, the business is closed down. People can't then afford to pay the rent and stuff like that, or the taxes for the building, so they end up leaving. I had about 85,000 people, and it's slowly started to dwindle down now because obviously people are leaving and stuff like that. So as you can see with this city, I started off with kind of like what they did in the opening scene, is use the avenues as much as I possibly could. Tunnel goes through there, it goes all the way around, one through the middle. Try and give them as much avenue space as possible, and use the smaller roads and stuff like that to branch off the avenues. But majority of the time use the avenues as much as you possibly can, because obviously they hold more traffic. They've got more lanes. They're able to hold more traffic. As you can see here, I've got a massive problem with it piling up on the freeway here, because they're trying to get into the city. Now, one of the main things that I've noticed about this, as you can see, I mean, this is a high density street here, which if I click on here, this is this street here, the high density street. Now, when you place a high density street on the sides of either a medium density avenue, a high density avenue, or a high density streetcar avenue, it puts traffic lights down. Now, normally if you just use the medium density street or the low density street or the dirt roads, you just end up having stop signs. Now, this can be beneficial sometimes because they're not forced to actually stop. They will actually, the cars are a bit dodgy in that way. They tend to go through each other. They'll pull out when another car's coming anyway. There's no accidents and crashes on the road systems in this game. But traffic lights actually force them to stop. So if they're having to stop here as they're coming into the city and they want to go this way, then they may end up getting stopped here, then they'll end up getting stopped here, and then they're getting stopped around here as well. So that's how the traffic starts to build up. So I am more inclined to, rather than use the high density streets, just let these stay as medium density buildings and stuff and things like that, just so that there's only stop signs at the end of the road, so it clears the traffic up a lot better. I mean, upgrading roads is not going to necessarily help your traffic. A city that I did before, I upgraded every single road. I only had really one sort of highway, medium density avenue, high density avenue running straight through the middle, and that just got blocked up completely. That's why I've gone the route of putting multiple routes in, obviously. So if somebody wanted to get, say, to this building here, even though that's abandoned at the moment, they can go this way and up through that way, or they can go that way and up through that way. It's roughly about the same travel distance. Obviously, it probably takes a little bit longer to go this way because they have to go up this avenue here, but there's less traffic lights going this way than what there is going this way to get to this specific building. So I try to give people sort of multiple routes, if you will, is to get to a specific building, so that they're not all going one way. And I've also attempted to, rather than segregate the commercial, the residential. I don't actually have any industry on this. I did have some. At some point, it was up in this sort of area here. I demolished it, but we'll get onto industry and zoning in another video, I think. But in the short run, I tried to put the houses sort of like all over, so that everybody's not sort of like going the same way. Because if I just say segregated this area off here to be residential and then use this for everything else, if people who are commuting out and people that are coming home are always going to end up going to this side of the city, whereas how I've got it set out at the moment, people obviously who are coming home from work, they're going to either go that way, they're going to go that way, they may even go straight up the middle. I've tried to even the spread out. I mean, because obviously in a real city, which this new SimCity kind of, I mean, it's not obviously as complex as if you were actually running a real city, but there have been rumours and reports of actually city planners actually using this to actually plan out cityscapes and stuff like that, because it is pretty accurate in ways of like what sort of traffic congestion you're going to get, where people actually go, what their likes and dislikes are, what you actually have to put in an area to make people happy with where they're living. I'm not going to do anything on this particular city. We're gonna jump out of this one and we're gonna start another one and go through obviously how you set up your first sort of road system and everything. I mean, I never had any traffic issues on this particular city until I started upgrading all these roads. As soon as I started upgrading all these roads and the traffic lights started setting in and more people started moving in, obviously because of the higher density buildings and stuff like that, I started just getting absolutely heap loads of traffic, and then thus is when my bus time started to go up. And 76 minute wait is just way too long. It's something you've really got to keep your eye on. I just went all out on this. I ended up, because I was losing so much money, I just took out all the bonds and just built as much as I could to try and get some money back. Now, majority of my money comes from the coal mine that I've got here, exporting that, and I tried to bring in some tourists. So you can see there I dropped a gambling hall down, but that's losing an absolute heap load of money per hour. So it's all gone to shit, really. Excuse my French, but it has. So there's a quick look of how I set out my roads. We shall start a new one and go through the full process, but that will be in the next video. So I will see you next time. Bye!